Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to do a video that I've been thinking about doing, so let me know if you like this concept, but I feel like there's so many new products launching and it's hard to tell what product is going to be perfect for you. There seems to be a lot of top rated products specifically at Sephora, and I wanted to kind of go through and give you guys my thoughts on these new launches in case you were kind of in between a couple of them, because we are seeing a lot of bronzers, a lot of blushes, similar products coming out, but they do have quite a bit of differences when you really break down the formulas. So I thought that I would go over some top rated new products at Sephora, tell you guys if I think they are worth it and who I think they would be best suited for. So of course I will link everything that I shared today down below in my description box, as well as the makeup that I'm wearing on my face. If you're new here, I hope you stick around and subscribe. And if you like this video concept and you would like to see more, give this video a thumbs up and let's go ahead and get into it. So let's start off with some products that you can get from Sephora at Kohl's. I want to say thank you to Kohl's for sponsoring this portion of today's video. And if you didn't know, you can actually double your rewards when you shop Sephora at Kohl's. So you can earn your Sephora Beauty Insider points, which gives you access to samples and perks and just deluxe samples you can add to your orders. And then you also can rack up your Kohl's rewards simultaneously. So it really is a great way to double your rewards, especially if you shop at Kohl's a lot and you want to hit the beauty section. You can also do the free in-store pickup, and they have over 800 stores. So I will have a link at the top of my description box to check out Sephora at Kohl's specifically. And then I want to go over some products here that you can get if you are stopping by a Kohl's and you want to grab some of these products. So let's start off with the Way Hair and Body Mist, and this is the new St. Bart's Hair and Body Mist. They knocked it out of the park. I'm actually really excited to see what other body mist they come out with. This truly is like an elevated summer scent. It smells incredible. It has a little bit of like that bubbly, fresh sort of scent, a little bit of that citrus, but then it's super juicy. I get pineapple, but I don't think that pineapple is actually a note in this. When you compare it to the Sol de Janeiro, they're definitely a little bit lighter, a little bit more, I would say, juvenile. They still smell incredible, but this one kind of leans more on the actual fragrance side. It really is stunning for summer, and the lasting power is really, really good. I love this so much that I went back to get the body scrub, and I think the body wash and the body butter. I mean, I went a little bit crazy. So if you've heard people talking about this or you've seen it top rated, it really is top rated for a reason. They smashed this release and I highly recommend this. Next, I want to talk about a couple cream bronzers or liquid bronzers that I really like, but they're definitely different. I feel like there's probably 500 releasing, but I really grabbed the two that spoke to me. So let's start off with the Makeup by Mario formula. So this is the Bronzing and Shaping Serum. So this is a liquid bronzer. I got the light medium. Now this is interesting because it actually has a pump, so you can pump out the product on your hand, but it also has a doe foot. So it's kind of nice if you want to do like targeted application for contour or anything like that. It almost looks like it's not mixed up right, or it has a luminosity in there, and it reminds me very much of the way that his foundation looks if you've ever tried it. There's definitely some sort of like pearl glow in there. This is very, very natural, very lightweight, and this is something that I prefer to use more on natural days, but this is really nice to just kind of take the edge off if you feel like you're washed out. So if I feel like I don't have my self-tan on, or I just want to warm up my skin but very slightly, this is what I've been reaching for. It's just so thin, and I don't find that it enhances my texture even though there is that glow in there. And even though this looks quite dark, this is a sheer formula. So I probably could have gotten the medium. I would say if you're wanting something a little bit more punchy, either this is not for you or this is something that you would want to get a shade deeper. It kind of reminds me of a mixture between a liquid bronzer and a bronzing drop, if that makes sense. Now you can mix this into your moisturizer and it does give you that effect. So this is a product that I think would be really, really nice for that clean girl aesthetic. Or again, if you're just somebody that doesn't like a harsh contour, you feel like you have a hard time blending it out and making it look natural, this is really, really natural. So I think it's really beautiful, but just know that you're not gonna get like a punchy, sculpted, contoured look. This is truly effortless. Just throw it on to warm up any areas that you want to, and you're out the door. Now on the flip side, if you do like something that is very pigmented, really sculpts the face, but also gives you warmth, a little goes a long way. This is a beautiful cream bronzer. So this is from Too Faced, and this is the Chocolate Souffle Melting Bronzing and Sculpting Stick. This smells incredible. I have to say, like, this smells just delicious, like a rich cocoa chocolate. This reminds me of a less emollient version of the LYS contour sticks, and definitely warmer just in terms of the shade that I have. It is super, super, super pigmented. So I find that this would be more of a formula that would work for really anyone, whereas the LYS is extremely heavy duty. So I feel like if you have really oily skin, you may have thought that was a little bit too much. This is just lightweight, but also has a nice hydration. I mean, the way that this blends in is absolutely beautiful, and you really need the tiniest amount. Like, this is gonna last forever. It does also play beautifully with powder, which is super important to me, and I've been able to layer like powder bronzers on top with no problem. So I think this is a beautiful launch, like beautiful launch. I would actually like to see Too Faced spin on this and come out with blushes in this formula, because the formula is just absolutely stunning. So this is 100% worth it, and I definitely see why the reviews are so good on this. And while we're on the topic of bronzing, this is a new product that I kind of was wary of trying. I really didn't think I was going to like it. I feel like a lot of times bronzing drops or just glowy primers that are supposed to give you a bronze end up making me look a little bit muddy, or they're heavy under my foundation, but this one truly is stunning. So this is the new Glow Recipe Sun Glow Watermelon Dewdrops. Now I do like the original dewdrops. They're just very hydrating. They have a soft watermelon smell, but I really like this for those of us that just want a subtle bronzing drop. It's definitely hydrating, but it's not over the top, so I don't feel like it enhances my texture in any way. This plays beautifully with my other products. So it comes out and it looks a little scary. And I thought initially, like, whoa, this is gonna be too much, but you can see it has this really light gel texture. So when you blend it out, it just gives you this really soft bronze glow, but there's nothing chunky about it. It doesn't enhance my texture, and I don't feel like it makes me look blotchy or like I just have patches all over, because I do have uneven skin. I also have rosacea. I just really have never got on with these bronzing drops or bronzing primers, and this is the first one that I really, really enjoy. So if you want just like a subtle glow, maybe you're like me and you self-tan your body, you don't self-tan your face, but you found that all of the other bronzing drops were just a little bit too much, too heavy, too dark, I think you would really, really, really like this. It's just absolutely beautiful, especially under other makeup products. And I would like to see Glow Recipe come out with some more shades, because I do think that this is more suited for like medium, light, fair skin tones. So I'd like to see options for deeper skin tones. Next, I want to talk about a foundation that I feel like is getting quite a bit of buzz for good reason. So this is the new Fenty Beauty Soft Lit Naturally Luminous Longwear Foundation. I picked up the shade 210, and I did a first impressions on this. So I have to say that I was pleasantly surprised by this formula. And as I've continued to use it, I've noticed some pros and cons. So the pro on this is that it truly is more of a natural luminous finish. So it's not going to be your typical extremely heavy, extremely dewy, extremely hydrating formula. So I feel like this is perfect for combo skin like me. It's nice to see something on the market that gives you a little bit of that glow without just taking it to the nth degree, because I do feel like everything is like glow, glow, dewy, dewy. And sometimes it's just a little overboard and really not practical for every day. So this is not gonna give you glass skin by any means, but it's not matte. So it's kind of an in-between for those of you that just find most of the glowy foundations on the market are too much, which has definitely been my experience most times. So this formula is super thin and lightweight, which I really love. It just doesn't feel heavy at all. It also has a good coverage. You can build it up if you need a little bit more help in certain areas. And I do find that this wears really well. When I initially tried this, I was actually doing yard work. I wasn't anticipating doing that, but it was hot. I was sweating, and this really hung on well. So it's something that lasts pretty well. I do notice that I have a little bit of wear kind of on my chin and jawline area. At the end of the day, if I don't use a setting spray like my Cali Ray, I don't think this is as a long wear as, let's say, like a double wear or even like my L'Oreal Infallible, but I do think this is a good option if you want something light that has a natural glow to it but not overboard, that also hangs on. So I do think it's really beautiful. If you're expecting, crazy intense luminosity, this is not going to be for you. If you have really dry skin, it may be a little bit too lightweight and not hydrating enough, but I do think this is a solid launch. I think that it's beautiful, and it's probably my favorite complexion product from Fenty other than their pressed powder. Okay, moving on, I have to talk about blush. I feel like blush is what we're seeing the most of, along with maybe like lip oils, but I have 3 different formulas. They're all very different, and I have different thoughts. This is where we're gonna get into some products that I don't think are worth it. So let's start off first with the new Kosas Baked Blushes. So I picked up 3 of these. These have gotten a ton of buzz. They have a super high rating, and I think it is warranted for this product just because, again, I am so kind of tired of seeing everything that is just so incredibly geared towards dry skin, so incredibly dewy, hard to work with, doesn't play well with powders, but maybe you still want a little bit of a glow even though you're not like a cream blush type of person, and these are stunning. So the first one I have is Euphoria. I'm so happy I picked this up because this is a really beautiful mauve-y tone, and it's something that I would have not chose for myself usually. These have a nice amount of pigment. If you do powder your face like me, you can definitely like dig in there and really build these up. If you don't use a lot of powder, these are definitely gonna show up more. The only thing I would say is it depends on how much like marbling you get in terms of the pigment per blush. If you have a deeper skin tone, I don't know if every shade is going to work for you. So that's my only complaint. I would like to see just more variety and more deeper, richly pigmented shades. But this next shade is Butterflies. And I feel like this one is the one that everybody's like going crazy about. These are sort of like the Rare Beauty, but they don't enhance your texture nearly as much. And they're just more wearable. They don't have any glitter in them. They have just like this pearlescence to them. And the last shade I have is this called Hype? Yes, Hype, which is more of like that peachy pink shade. It's just perfect if you want that glow without enhancing your texture. But I do think this is a beautiful launch and honestly refreshing because, again, we're just getting bombarded by creams and liquids and balms, and it's kind of not realistic for every skin type to use those products. So this is a good option if you're a powder girly. Now, if you're not a powder girly, you may love this formula, but I want to be clear and explain why I don't personally like this formula. So this is the new Haus Labs Blush Balms, and these are supposed to be like really glossy, really balmy, and I do definitely agree with that. There's a couple complaints I have the more that I've been using these. So the first complaint is the packaging feels very lightweight and cheap. It's not metal, it is like this plastic. So I feel like it's a little bit less of a luxury experience, even though this isn't a luxury brand. I just feel like for the price point, they could have done more with the packaging. My biggest complaint with this product overall is that it just is finicky. It does have that balmy feel, but so much so that it really removes anything you have underneath. I found that I've tried this with a bunch of different foundations, and if you look closely, you can just see where it has just removed the product underneath. And for someone like me with rosacea, redness, uneven tone, it's really noticeable if you can't get it corrected. So if you wear like a high coverage foundation or you have a lot that you like to cover, this is going to basically just move your base so you can really see that translucency through the blush, and it just looks a little bit off if you're somebody, again, that self-tans and doesn't self-tan your face. Things like that that really matter to me. I do think that these are pigmented, and I like that they are lightweight. They do apply best, shockingly to me, over powder. I really wasn't anticipating that because I had a hard time with these just using them on an unset face. I will say they don't wear the best in my opinion, because I noticed after putting them on top of powder, they do end up just looking really oily and like glossy. So when I initially applied them, I had this like beautiful glow, but after a few hours, I just felt like it was greasy. And again, it just felt like the rest of my skin was powdered, and then my cheeks just had this like oily appearance to them. They started to get sticky as well, so they started to transfer. So I don't really believe the long wearing aspect. These do leave a light stain on your hand or your cheeks, but I just don't feel like it's something that really enhances the longevity enough to really say these are long wear. So the 3 shades that I have, I would say my favorite has to be the Glassy Lilac. I've been on the hunt trying to find a shade that matches this, and I failed so far, so let me know if you know of any. And then the middle shade is the Glassy Pitaya, and then I have the Glassy Rosette. So unfortunately, this is just not the perfect formula for me. I know a lot of people are going to love this formula, but I've seen other people demo it, and I've noticed the same thing where it really just kind of disrupts whatever they have on underneath, and to me, that bothers me. But if you do like that, then you would love these. And moving on to the final blush formula that I am so excited to talk about, because this formula has blown me away. I was anticipating hating this, and I almost didn't purchase it, but I thought, let me just try one shade. I really thought this was gonna be just super sheer, not gonna show up, going to be a nightmare with powder products, and I was completely wrong. I went back and bought 3 more shades. That's how much I love this. This is the Luminous Silk Cheek Tint from Armani. You guys, I am so blown away by this formula. They smashed it. I have never liked a cheek tint like I like this product. So let's start off with the 2 that I'm wearing right now. Now I'm just wearing this one on the cheeks, which is the shade 31. So beautiful. This is like the Dior Coral Blush, but in a liquid form. So when you swatch it, it's pretty sheer, but if you start blending it out, you have this really light kind of neon flush. So I like to dip in usually about 2 wand sizes for each cheek. So I'm just gonna apply a little bit more and start blending this out. And you can see that I really have punched up the color. So it really does build beautifully. Definitely needs 2 swipes in my opinion. I also like to use this on my lips. So I do have this on my lips as well. This formula is so thin and so glowy and beautiful with this gorgeous like neon hue to it, but it plays beautifully with powder. I was so scared when I initially tried this. I applied it to an unset face, and then I was like, this is going to look horrible once I put powder on this, because it was just so beautiful and glossy. And then when I went to put the powder on, I could not believe how seamless this set. It had no disruption, no lifting, no patching. I was truly in shock, and that's when I knew this was game changer for me. So the lightest shade that I have is this shade called 53. Again, very similar to the Dior. This one is definitely very light, very pastel and bubblegum. So I would say probably the least wearable. I like to mix this one, or again, I did put this on my lips too. I'm gonna add a little bit of the coral shade, because that's what I have on my lips. I have no lipstick on. I literally just mixed this with a little bit of the pink on top. I absolutely love these tones, but if you're not into those sort of shades, they do have some more wearable and punchy colors. So this next one is 62, and this is more of a mauve-y, purpley neutral shade. You can really build these up and make them as punchy as you want them to, aside from the pink shade. So this one just gives you a beautiful like mauve-y flush. And then this one is stunning. I do have to be careful with this one, but this is 41, and this one is a red shade. I don't really have, you know, much room here, but I'm just gonna use one dip in to show you this. This one is definitely intense, so you need less than the other shades, but it's gorgeous. It really blends out to give you that beautiful, like sun-kissed, you've been in the sun sort of look. So you can see here, it has a little bit of a glow to it, but it's not overpowering. I don't see any glitter, any pearlescence, any sparkle in these, but for some reason they just give you that beautiful like lit from within look. I just cannot believe how gorgeous these are. If you don't set them, or if you do, literally I've never had a problem. These set effortlessly and the shades are stunning. Plus the fact that I can use them on my lips too. I am in love with this formula. I'm trying to hold myself back to not go back and get, I think there's like 2 more shades, but this truly blew me away. 10 out of 10 if you haven't tried this and you thought that this was gonna be a flop. I'm telling you right now, add it to basket. And while we're on the topic of flops, I have a couple flops that I wanted to mention today. I have to keep it real and tell you when products really just don't work for me. So the first one I'm so sad about, and this is the Color Wow Money Mist. This is a leave-in conditioner. It's supposed to be light, give you that glossy look. I love Color Wow products usually, and I really love the Money Mask, which is from this line. It just makes your hair look so silky and glossy. Color Wow does also have the Dream Coat, which is incredible. So I was excited to try this because it's supposed to be a light leave-in. It's supposed to give you that really silky hair, but be lightweight. Unfortunately, I just don't love this. I feel like this leaves a film on my hair, which is my #1 complaint about it. But on top of that, it doesn't give me that glossy, shiny hair that I really want, and really what this whole line is supposed to be about. I do like the continuous mister. I'm not gonna mist it right now because my hair is dry, but when you press this down, it does give you a really nice continuous mist. The scent is just so-so for me, but I just feel like this leaves some sort of like film or heaviness on my hair, and I don't find that it really makes it glossy. It doesn't tame frizz. I'm just really disappointed in this, and the reviews are really good on this, so maybe it's just my hair type, but this is definitely my least favorite product that I've tried from Color Wow. Another product that I wanted to love, but unfortunately was a pretty pricey miss for me. This is from Hourglass, and this is the Vanish Airbrush Pressed Powder. So I picked up Translucent Light. I'm a huge fan of the Vanish Airbrush Primer. It really does keep my skin matte, and it gives me such a smooth canvas. So I really had high hopes for this. This just does not do much, if anything, for my skin. I found that as a touch-up powder, it's not the most smoothing, which is something that I'm looking for. It does have a lightweight feel, but almost too lightweight to where it just does nothing. I feel like it doesn't make my texture look noticeably better, which is #1. It doesn't keep me matte either. I feel like I could use this as a touch-up, and within literally 15 minutes, I'm oily again. So I don't find it to be mattifying or control oils. And the worst thing is when I use this on my T-zone to set like my under eye, it's one of those that really sinks into any creases or fine lines, and it kind of does that weird creasing after I've set it thing, where I kind of feel like I have like flour in between each fine line. It just is one of those that really didn't work any way that I applied it. It doesn't have any glow to it or anything to make it useful as like a finishing powder either. So because it just has like no pigment, it's translucent, it doesn't smooth, it doesn't keep me matte, and it doesn't really set well, this is a huge fail for me. I really cannot see a way to get this to work for my skin type, and I really don't know if it does enough to warrant the price really for anyone. So unfortunately, this was a huge pass for me. And to finish off this video on a positive note, I have a new fragrance that I really am loving. It's getting good reviews, and I definitely think it is worth the good reviews. So this is the new Ellis Brooklyn scent, and this is called Miami Nectar. This is named so perfectly, I can't even tell you. It really just gives me, I'm in Miami, I'm at the beach, I'm going to lunch, whatever it may be. It gives that like tropical but elevated vibe of Miami if you've ever been there. And it has that nectar sweet like juiciness to it. It has like this sweet, sort of like aquatic twist, and it pairs beautifully with the Way St. Bart's. This smells so good. I don't know, I may like this more than Sunfruit, and I feel like that's a big statement, but there's something about this that is just so like fresh, but also sweet. It is delicious. Now, Ellis Brooklyn fragrances do not last forever, so I do feel like I have to reapply these, you know, within like 5 or 6 hours, but I like them because they don't give me a headache. And something about this like nectar, juicy, sweet, oh, it's just so beautiful. I am blown away by this, and I'm trying to, you know, hold myself back from getting the full size. I feel like I need to use it first and then I can think about it, but they really did a great job. This is truly one of my favorite scents from them. Of course, I love Sunfruit, but this one's giving it a run for its money. I think it is named perfectly, and honestly, it is perfect for this time of year. All right, guys, so I think that is everything that I wanted to talk about in today's video. I didn't want to talk about too many products because a lot of these new products I'm still testing myself. They're just dropping like hotcakes, and I'm trying to keep up. So these are the products that I have really tested and I can give you my full review on. I do also want to demo some of these in trying new makeup videos. I just have so many, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed, especially in the blush and bronzer department. So I hope you guys got some insight from this video. Maybe you were looking at some of these products and you didn't know if they would work for you. If you have any questions, I would love to chat in the comments. Of course, I will link everything down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, I hope you stick around and subscribe. As always, thank you guys again so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.